Hi, I'm Seamless, and this is another How To Synth tutorial. And today I'm going to show you how to do a neat little thing that sounds like this. The particular, what actually the sound is actually not that important. It's just how I did it, because it utilizes ring modulation in an interesting way. There was a sound effect that I used actually in a remix that I just completed, and also there was a sound that someone wanted to have done in a lesson, and I figured why not have one of these for How to Synth. And basically, I'm creating a gigantic mess with FM, just two sine waves, and I've been trying that difficult to do with it. And then I'm ring modulating it with a really sharp curve here, and I'm messing around with the pitch and the speed of a whole bunch of stuff. And so, in fact, I'm doing the pitch and the volume of operator 2 here, which is just a high frequency sine wave, and then this was just a regular other higher frequency sine wave. And this guy is sort of a base level thing, but this doesn't really matter because the pitch of this is being controlled by mod Y, and the pitch range set by this knob right here is set up all the way to max, which is 4 octaves. So it's 4 octaves up, 4 octaves down, so that means that the pitch change there is quite brutal. Sort of the purpose of this is that like the ring modulation becomes like a particularly a percussive kind of thing, and we're able to sort of modulate that into audio rate range and have like a really, and then come all the way down to almost being like LFO type. And by almost I mean exactly being LFO type. And that's just what that is. Like the ring modulation is ring modulating the output oscillator, which is being FM'd, and like that's really all there is to this particular sound. But I want to show you something. I'll do this with an empty citrus to kind of show you what the actual two FM oscillators are doing. So and that's I put up a really high tone because I was gonna use bass level ring modulation. I realized that it doesn't necessarily matter because you could just play a higher note and still do what I'm gonna do with it, which is that when you FM something by the same note, by the same tone, right? The same fundamental frequency. It sounds, like you expect FM to sound. But if you change the pitch of either oscillator, you get that kind of like weird radio tuning sound that people tend to associate with this particular thing. It's called FM radio for a reason. Actually, I don't know if it's called that for that reason. It's interesting because it's called FM and AM radio, and like I could totally understand if that's the process by which they're operating, but I don't actually know if they are. So I'm not gonna be definitive about that because that'd be weird if I was wrong and I was just like, no, it stands for, I don't know, Freedom Mantis Radio. It's the Freedom Mantis Radio. That's how FM radio works. There's a bunch of mantises chirping really, really loudly, and then that's being broadcasted by repeater mantises. And that's how we get terrestrial radio. But now we got satellite radio, so we don't have to use mantises anymore. It was a big invention of the late 90s. The early 90s? I don't really remember when satellite radio started being a thing. Look at all this stuff I don't know. Anyway, so that's really all that's happening here. Is I'm just making a gigantic mess. Alternatively, you don't even really need to do the FM thing. Like, I could just like not have FM happening at all and just have noise on this last oscillator. And it would still be kind of a neat thing to do. For like a particular kind of effect, but I prefer the tonality of having the FM in there. So the way that we get this shape is that you go any of these, and we're using some of these waveform modifiers up here. So we're going to use the half one and the even one, derp, these two guys, which makes this particular shape occur. And this when we're using ring modulation, it makes it a bit sharper. And the reason for that actually is because ring modulation is a bipolar process. So if you look at a regular sine wave, the zero crossing is representative of actually being zero amplitude. So this means that we have positive amplitude, zero amplitude, and then negative amplitude. So it means really what we're looking at here is that it goes on and off twice per oscillation, which is really like one more than we wanted to because it wouldn't be the same like actual note for that reason. So doing it like this would make it go only one time per oscillation. It makes it particularly, more regular. But doing it like this means only half of the oscillation is actually audible. Unlike FM, the actual shape of the waveform is indicative of the actual motion. It's just 1-to-1. It's direct. So that's what that is. And then I just changed the waveform until it's, I guess, a triangle wave. Is that what that is? That's just a saw wave, I guess. Yep, that's a saw wave. And this just comes out like that. You can also like mess around with the tension to make it even sharper if you want to do that kind of thing. Or you could even like kind of like hold back on it for it to be softer. That's sort of either options like that. But that's how I made this shape, and that's ring modulating that. And then I also changed the pitch with mod Y. And I'm changing the pitch with mod X, pitch and volume of this. Now, the reason why I'm changing volume on this guy and not like the mod input is because if I change the mod input on number 1, it would also change how much RM is being RM'd. And I didn't want to do that. I want it to be constant. So that's why that's what's up with that. Yeah. Anyway, here's me checking. Oh my god. I guess everything was fine. Never mind. Anyway, if you have any questions about this, please let me know. This FLP will be available down in the description of this video. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And as usual, did I say that? My god. And as usual, have a nice day.